Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Manan. I have been living in this small little country called Estonia for the past 8 years. I'm originally from Pakistan. If you look through my channel, then I recently created a series about life in Estonia for foreigners, and it has gained some decent views, and now I want to create a new series. This episode is the intro episode for that new series, and in this new series I want to talk about the mental health challenges that expats face when they go abroad. In this series I want to talk about my own journey as I went through dealing with being away from my family, from my culture, dealing with loneliness, dealing with anxiety, dealing with comparison with everybody else, and all these issues. How did I went through them? How did I overcome them when I had little to no help from anywhere else? Now, coming through my own example, why is it such a big challenge when somebody moves from one country to another? Now, aside from the logistical and other administrative challenges like finding a place to live, finding a job, all these things, if you put them all aside, then there is a huge mental aspect that needs to be overcome, and that it really is that when we are growing at one place, we have everything under order, especially if you're coming from any Eastern culture. We know everything that has been taught to us by our parents, from the very basics as how to meet someone, how to greet someone. Language plays a big part in that. How to eat, how to sit, how to stand, how to walk, how to all of these things, where to look, where to not look. Now, all of these things are sort of taught to us and imposed as we are born through our culture, to our religion, to our parents. And we don't always necessarily know what the reasons for all these things are. So when we are growing old, when we come of age, we tend to see them as restrictive. We tend to see them as stifling. And I was the same as well. I thought my culture, I thought all of these things that are imposing down on me are restrictive, and this prompted me. This was one of the reasons why I really wanted to move out. And talking to a lot of other expats who mostly come from Eastern culture, that has been one of the trigger points, that something happens that they feel that they need to leave their culture, they need to leave their country behind, and they cannot live in that place for any more. So when you move to a new place, then it's a completely empty slate. And the thing is that even though you have come from your own place, you are still carrying all those structures, you are still carrying all those mindsets with you. So having those mindsets, but there is an empty field, it becomes very, very difficult. You see everywhere around you, and you see a complete difference than what you have been practicing your whole life without any reason. And that sort of blows the foundation from your mental models. That's where it becomes really, really difficult, and you need to start from scratch. Some people move to either of the extremes. A lot of expats, especially from Eastern countries, when they move abroad, they either hold their culture so tightly that they become really fundamentalist in that regard, that even the smallest thing they will try to shield themselves and shield their children from all the influences of the outside culture. And that, well, let's say that does not turn out well. On the other hand, there is a completely opposite scenario. When you move away from your own culture to another different culture, you sort of cut down everything that associates you with your older culture, and you try to fit yourself in the newer culture. And seeing from my own personal experience, that doesn't turn out so good as well. Both of these extremes can cripple you in the long run. Now, the third scenario, the third aspect, is that you come from your own culture, you take a step back, and you start to build slowly a new foundation. And you will see that as you build your new foundation, you will find aspects from your older culture coming back again because you tend to realize now, okay, why were they there? even though I thought of them as stifling, as restrictive. Why were they there? So anyway, this was a short experience example about why we face so much challenges when we move abroad. Now, a couple of other things is that as I go through each episode, I will talk about my own personal experiences. Again, I'm not a mental health specialist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a therapist, I'm not licensed in any way to give mental health advice. The only thing that I will tell is what definitely has worked for me, for myself, that I learned on my own, that I learned from around me, from reading, from watching, from practicing. In any case, it's always best to talk to a mental health specialist, but in my own experience, maybe that's a well, let's say it's an individual example, but that didn't turn out so well. So I had to take matters into my own hand, and I had to journey through my own fears and through my own darkness to find out the light. If I could sum up in my own way, the objective that I set for myself was that I will not be a cause of my own misery. Now, I know that there are a lot of hardships in the world. There is a lot of suffering in the world. Things happen, people die, people suffer, and there is tragedy, if you want to look for it, all around you. But the least that we can accomplish is that we ourselves should not be the cause of our own misery. And when I say we ourselves, I mean our minds. And we will see more in the coming episodes how to understand your mind, how to look beyond your mind, and that, I believe, is going to be the most interesting and most transformative part of that course. So anyway, it's good to be back. It's good to be back on YouTube. I know I have been away for quite a long while, but my goal is to now produce consistent content, because now I've gone through a lot of things and I know what I need to do. So anyway, good to see you. Say hello to anybody around you, hug somebody, smile at somebody, even if they think you're creepy, but once in a while it's okay. And then take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.